Hello, today is January the 1st, 2009. Happy New Year, everybody. However, this video is uploaded January 1st and recorded December the 31st. So I recorded two videos today, uploaded one of them on the 31st and one on the January the 1st. Today's video is about sports, future of sports on the short term, intermediate, and long term, and I will use a new age perspective. Well, not the short term. On the long term, I'll be using new age perspective. So, right off the bat, let's do short term predictions. The only thing that I can really predict for you right now is the National Football League. I will be using old age to predict this, because that's how I know it, because I spent like 20 years, no, not 20, 15 years or so trying to figure out how to win in betting against the spread. And you know what, maybe it is 20 years. Time has gone by fast, but I spent over 15 years trying to figure out how to beat the spread. And during this time, I mean, I don't do this as much anymore, but I am making a bet this weekend. And one of the systems that I would use is in the first round of the playoffs to play home underdogs. They're such a huge advantage, but they're hard to come by. It's so hard to find home underdogs in the playoffs because usually the home team is usually the better team. And in this case here, let me just get the games done. I think the home team is the better team in maybe 3 of the 4 games, and yet every team is underdog against the spread. So ka-ching, you can almost go all 4 home teams against the spread, but I'm not doing that. I'm going 3 home teams against the spread. Atlanta, Arizona, rookie quarterback against veteran Kurt Warner. That's just all I need to know there. Arizona's at home. I know they're a much weaker team overall, I think. But Atlanta's nothing to shake. I mean, they're nothing amazing either. I like Arizona plus the points. I think they should be favored by 3. Philadelphia, Minnesota. Now, I do think Minnesota is a better team than Philadelphia. So I think Minnesota should be 3.5 point favorites here. Yeah, they got Philadelphia at about 2.5 point favorites. And in Canada, it's 3.5 point favorites. So I'm liking that even more. Yeah, I like Minnesota. They're at home. The only problem is the quarterback situation. They got a young quarterback. I don't like that. But I mean, Philadelphia, they're good, but they had to go through a big game to get there. So I'm putting that into play. Once again, this is like old school theology. So we'll see how my predictions go. I could go 0-4, but I don't think so. Baltimore, Miami. This is my best play of the week by far. I think Miami should easily be favored by 3 points minimum here. I mean, Chad Pennington has been one of the top quarterbacks in the league for Miami, and Baltimore has a rookie quarterback. Miami's probably a better team. I got to go with Miami at home. They're underdogs. They should be 3 point favorites, 3.5 point favorites. And I'm going to go against the system by taking the Colts over the Chargers. I thought that the Colts should have been favored between 4 and 7. Probably 4, but they're favored by 1, 2. That's not enough. I got to go with the Colts to beat the Chargers. The Chargers were in a terrible division. Terrible coach. They're not as good of a team. Yes, they've won 4 straight games, but how many games in a row the Colts won? Like 8? Colts are probably the best team in the league right now, so yeah, I'm going with the Colts. So I'm going to make a spread. I'm going to make a 4-game parlay. If Arizona, Minnesota, Indy, and Miami all cover, then I win. We'll see what happens. Another short-term prediction is my Super Bowl prediction. I might make another video on that before. I used to do Super Bowl, or I used to do football videos on here. I'm going to predict Indianapolis and the Giants. We'll see how that prediction goes when the Super Bowl comes into play. Now, time for my intermediate and long-term predictions. This is a new age prediction. So those are old age predictions based on using old age ways of theories. This is like Mayan calendar, new age theologies based on the way the world is going, on what is going to happen in the future. First off, the Arena Football League has canceled its entire 2009 season because of the troubling economy and sponsorship offers, and that does not surprise me. And I expect the same to be true with the big four: football, hockey, baseball, and basketball. I expect that to happen very, very soon. Whether it's 1 season or 2 seasons left, I don't think it's going to be more than 2 more seasons left after this. We'll see what happens. Maybe we play again another season, maybe we don't. I predict there will be a 2009 NFL season and maybe a 2010 season, but not in a 2011 season and not a 2012 season and probably not a 2013 season. That's a prediction of mine. I don't think that's going to happen. That's a pretty wild prediction to be making right now. And the best prediction that I can make is I'm going to make changes to it as we move on, because right now, in order to be making these 2012, 2011, 2010, 2014 type predictions, I have to understand that major change is going to happen, because my number one prediction that I can make, that I don't think I'm going to be wrong, is that much change, major change is going to happen. That's the best prediction I can make. So now that I know that, and now that I know major change is going to happen, what does this mean for the future of sports? Well, the Blue Jays lost A.J. Burnett to the New York Yankees due to free agency for $50 million per season average, which means he gets, if he starts 30 games, $500,000 per game, which means if you go to Yankee Stadium, or whatever their new stadium happens to be called, and you watch him play, $10 of your ticket would go towards his salary, but obviously it's less than that because of sponsorship deals, of TV rights, blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, he's getting paid $500,000 for every game he starts. That is just not right. It's just not right. To me, I think the most expensive baseball player should be making about $2 million, maybe $2.5 million, and the league minimum should be anywhere between $250,000 to $350,000. That's my prediction. But they don't do it that way. So they make the rich get richer, poor getting poorer, and that's part of the problem that this world has, which is why I'm predicting a major collapse in sports around 2010, approximately. And that means that all of these sports are going to shut down. Also in 2010 is the Olympic Games in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I think it's a coin flip right now whether that happens or not. And if it does happen, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going on because much change is going to happen. I don't know if the 2010 Olympics will happen, but I would make a safe bet that the 2012 Olympics will not happen because, well, I'll talk more about 2012 later on in 2009, but it's just not going to happen. I would have to say it's about under a 5%, even 7 or 8% chance that it actually happens. So my prediction is that the 2012 Olympics in London, England, will not happen. And my prediction also would be that these sports will resume the post-2012 era. And it's going to be resuming with much change because, like I say, my big prediction from 2008 on to the next decade or so, the decade from 2008 on, is that of great change. So we went through 10% of the change as far as Gregorian calendar is concerned. As far as Mayan calendar is concerned, we've barely even touched this 10-year change, like maybe 2 or 3%. That's how much different the time works from the Gregorian calendar and the Mayan calendar. So that's why it's extremely hard to make these predictions of what I expect sports to go. But due to sponsorship, due to the economy getting so much worse, the dollar collapsing, all of these things to me is an indicator that these sports are just gonna go through a change. And I think they will stop for anywhere between 3 to 6 years, if not even 10, who knows. And when it comes back, I'm hoping that it comes back and that they play for the love of the game, or they play with a lot less money. Like I say, a baseball player should be making nowhere than around $2.5 million. And it should be like that with all the sports, whether it be baseball, basketball, hockey, football. That's, to me, what it should be. It's too much money. Prices of tickets should be lower. When I went to Blue Jay games, I used to go to them all the time from like 1985 to like 1993. I probably went to about 50 games or more at Exhibition Stadium, Skydome. I went to quite a few games. And in Skydome, the tickets were $4 for way up at the very top in the outfield. And behind the catcher, I think at the was $17 at the start of Skydome, and in '93 I think it was like $22. And so I went to all those games from '85 to '93. It was a beautiful dynasty the team had. Then the team sold out in '94. They had a strike in '94, and I lost interest in the sport. I didn't go to a game from '94 to 2007. I had tickets for the '94 season, but the strike stopped me from going because it was after the strike. So 2007, I bought these tickets here. Here's my ticket that I had. It was a Boston Blue Jay game, and it was $50 a ticket, but I paid $40 from a scalper. I could have probably paid $35, and I also probably could have got tickets even cheaper if I would have waited until maybe 7:30 with the first pitch at 7:07. Nonetheless, I went to a game, and it was distracting, the fact that there was too many ads. I come back and I just get all these memories of the past and just think how good they were back then and how terrible the team is now. But nonetheless, the prices went from $20 to $50. So that was over 100% inflation in like 13 years. In a decade and a half, it was over 100%. I don't think that's normal, because if we've had 100% inflation since, say, 1900, what does that tell you the prices were back then? Maybe, but you know what? I think it has been over 100% inflation. I think it's because of the way the dollar's been, which is obviously a big reason why I think this whole thing is going to happen. The whole collapse of sports is going to happen as part of this big, big change that's going to come into play. I'll probably change my prediction as I move forward, because like I said in a previous video, that a lot of my predictions are going to be wrong. A lot of them are going to be right, and most of them are going to be close, meaning I was almost right or wrong. So we'll see how close I am with my predictions. The short-term ones we'll know after the weekend's over. I'll win some money if all 4 of them were right, because I am making a wager against the spread on those 4 games in a parlay, meaning I have to get all 4 right. That is Arizona, Mini, Miami, and Indianapolis to cover the spread. We'll see how that game goes. Arizona, I'm only taking 2.5 points with against Atlanta. But, I think Arizona should be favored, so I should be happy to take 2.5 points in that spot there. But we'll see how things go. There was a system last year where usually the second round of the playoffs, the home teams always cover the spread. That's a huge system right there. But last year I was saying, you know what, I don't like it. I like all the road teams and like all the road teams covered. So we'll see what happens now in the second round of the playoffs. But that's my prediction. The things are going to fall down really, really hard. I'm just rambling, so this tells you that I got to cut this video and shut it off, which I will do. And I'll come back with my next video, hopefully maybe tomorrow, next day, or whenever. I have no idea what my next video will be about, but it will be New Age. Accept the love, feel the love, accept the love, share the love. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.